Hey guys, Sausage Surge here. Have you ever wanted to shoot lasers out of your eyes that can tear through enemies and even cut down an entire forest? Have you ever wanted boots that let you walk across water, or gear that lets you move through it almost like a sea creature? Or maybe you're just looking for some of the craziest, strongest, and most stylish looking pieces of gear in all of Crimson Desert. From boots that let you walk on water, to a helmet that lets you fire lasers out of its eyes, to some absolutely insane, unique looking gear, strong stats, and some of the coolest designs I've seen so far in the game. And the best part is, I'm going to show you exactly where to get every single piece, the easiest way to reach them, and what makes them so special, and whether or not they're actually worth going out of your way to grab. So if you guys enjoy Crimson Desert tips, tricks, gears, locations, and all things like that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow, helps push the videos further into the algorithm, and I seriously do appreciate all you guys' support. Now with all that being said, I'm not going to waste much of you guys' time. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And the first piece of gear we're going to be talking about today is Marnie's laser helmet. Alright, so first things first, how do we actually get Marnie's laser helmet? What you're going to do is head over east side of the map near Delicia, down near the bottom to a location called Marnie's Mysterium. Now, a quick warning, if you haven't cleared this area out, there are a ton of robotic enemies here, and they will absolutely swarm you. I highly recommend just following exactly where I go, just avoid fighting as much as possible. We're going to head through this large wooden gate, and we're going to follow this path all the way up. Just keep following the path one by one, dodging the enemies, trying not to fight the best you can. After we pass through the iron gate, immediately to the left there's going to be a hole in the wall, and inside the room on a black small table you're going to find Marnie's laser helmet. Now one important thing is if enemies are still aggroed onto you, the game might not actually let you pick it up right away. I actually had to clear out some enemies to be able to grab it, just be aware of that. Now let's talk about why would you actually want this helmet, because I'm going to be honest with you, at first it's pretty underwhelming. When you first get it, it only fires like one laser beam, and it has a minute cooldown timer. It can't be refined, and it doesn't have any abyss cores. So yeah, at first glance, it feels like it's just for style points. But this is where things get interesting. If you take the helmet over to Grimnir's shop at the Cuckoo Pot factory, you can actually upgrade it into something much stronger. Now for the upgrade, you are going to need an advanced Cuckoo Pot, the helmet itself, a Gate of Collapse core, a core of ablation, and some electrical components. Make sure you got everything before you actually head over there. But once you upgrade it, this is where the helmet goes from almost useless to actually pretty strong. After upgrading it, it can lock onto multiple enemies at once. The cooldown timer is much faster. Some of the enemies can actually even be one-shot, and it becomes insanely useful for farming resources. And what I mean by that is you can literally target multiple trees at once and clear out an entire forest way faster than using max. So overall, the helmet is actually incredibly stylish in my opinion, actually very useful after upgrading, and honestly it's one of the coolest looking pieces for a helmet. And yeah, I know I said that a lot, but in Crimson Desert, they did an insane job with the armor and weapon designs. So, that was Marnie's laser helmet. Let's move on to the next item. Alright, moving down the list, the next weapon we're going to be talking about is the Electromecha Spear. Now, if you want to get your hands on this, you're just going to head above Delicia, right below Gorthak, exactly where I'm showing you on the map here. Once you arrive at the location, you're going to notice you're in a bit of a trench area. From here, just follow the trench forward. Keep an eye out for a wooden structure just like the one I'm at. As you approach, on your left-hand side, you're going to see a breakable wooden wall. Obviously, you're just going to break through it, and inside there, you're going to see a golden chest. Once you open it up, that's going to give you the Electromecha Spear. Now, let's talk about the weapon itself. Unfortunately, you can't refine it, and it also doesn't have any abyss slots to gear into, which is definitely a downside, but this weapon does insanely high base damage, which makes it hit extremely hard right out the gate. And on top of that, it comes with a movement speed bonus and a lightning affinity. So if you're running any kind of lightning build or you just want a early, strong mid game, this thing is actually a really solid option. And honestly, between the damage, the affinity, and the fact that it looks clean as hell, this is definitely a weapon worth picking up. It's easy to grab, doesn't take much effort, and it will serve you really well for a good portion of the game. Alright, let's move on to the next item. The next weapon we're going to be talking about is a greatsword, and that is going to be called the Righteous Verdict. And I'm not even going to lie, this one looks insane. It's got that classic knight aesthetic, clean silver finish, super polished design, and honestly one of the best looking greatswords in the game, in my personal opinion. If I'm rocking a greatsword, I'm rocking this one. Now let's go ahead and get into how to get it. You're going to want to head over to the right side of a steel mountain, and you're going to be looking for a camp called the Nightfall Expedition Camp. Once you arrive at the camp, you're going to make your way back left-hand side, where you're going to find a cave entrance that are covered in vines. You're going to want to head right inside. After making your way through the cave, you're eventually going to come across a waterfall. What you're going to do here is go behind the waterfall, and this is where the dungeon continues. From this point on, it's pretty straightforward, your typical mini dungeon setup. You're going to open a couple doors, do some simple jumping paths. I like to glide straight through them. But after completing this and making your way all the way through, you'll eventually reach the end, and stuck into the ground is the righteous verdict. Now let's talk about the stats of this weapon. This weapon comes with 23 attack, critical rate level 3, attack speed level 2, and refinement level 4. And on top of that, it comes with 3 Abyss Gear perks, which is going to be attack speed level 2, attack 1, and critical rate 1. And of course, you can swap those Abyss perks out depending on your build. So overall, this is a really solid greatsword. Right between that crit rate, attack speed, and how clean it looks, it's easily one of my favorite greatswords in the game right now. If you like that knight style aesthetic or want something that actually performs well too, I recommend picking this one up. And obviously you can slot any Abyss gear you would want in it, so the weapon really doesn't matter, it's only for style points, but I really like this weapon. So without further ado, let's move on to the next item. The next item on our list is called the Vapor Walker boots, and these things are actually pretty crazy. These boots let you basically walk on water. Well, not just walk, but you actually glide across it, which makes traveling in certain areas way faster and honestly just looks badass. So let's talk about how to get them. You're going to want to head over to Payloon, and just below it is the location, the Ancient Rift, and right here where I'm showing you on the map. Once you arrive here, you're going to notice 2 waterfalls. What you want to do is go on the left-hand side of the waterfall, and the important part is do not jump all the way down. It is going to be 1 level down, just like I am here. Once you land here, you know you're at the right spot once you see these stacked rocks. From here, just like most waterfall secrets, you're going to stab through the waterfall to get behind it. Inside, you're going to find a stone wall. Use your force palm punch to break open. After breaking through, head all the way inside, and there's going to be a golden chest, and inside that chest, you will get the Vapor Walker boots. Now let's talk about what makes these things so good. So when you're in shallow water like rivers, streams, or ponds, you can actually glide across the surface instead of swimming. And the distance you can cover with these things is honestly actually insane. You can cover pretty big areas of water, making it very efficient and smooth if you just can't make it over. So overall, these boots are super fun to use. They're great for movement and traversal, and honestly, they're just really cool mechanic to have in the game. And speaking of boots, we're actually going to move on to another pair, but this time instead of gliding on water, you're going to be able to swim insanely fast. The next pair of boots we're going to be talking about is the Tidebreaker boots, or as I like to call them, the Jordans of Crimson Desert. Now, if you want to get these, you're going to head over to Delicia, right to the location I'm showing you here on the map. You'll know you're at the right spot when you see a wooden train track with a waterfall right next to it. From here, we're going to jump down, just like before. You're going to perform a stab attack to go through the waterfall. And on the other side, you're just going to run into a blocked wall. Use your force palm punch to break through it, as always. And once you're inside, you're going to find a few items you can grab, and obviously the golden chest, which is what we're after. And inside that chest is where you'll get the Tidebreaker boots. Now let's talk about what makes these so good. First of all, they look insane. I mean, look at them. They're like some kind of future tech thing. But more importantly, when you're in water, if you hit your special ability, it gives you a jet propulsion boost, launching you forward through the water. And I'm not exaggerating. You move like 10 times faster than normal swimming. You swim pretty damn fast. So whether you fall in the water from shore or just need to escape or want to explore faster, these boots are honestly insanely useful. So you can cross huge distances without draining your stamina too much, which is a massive advantage. So overall, these are obviously extremely useful. They have mobility and recovery, and honestly just all around fun and honestly easy to use. They're a simple mechanic, and they honestly look like nothing else in the game that I've seen. Alright, so we covered a helmet, a spear, a greatsword, and even some insane boots. Now it's time to get you guys one of the best looking shields of the game, and honestly some people would even say the best shield overall. We're talking about the Deminis Royal Guard shield. Now to get this, you're going to head over to Deminis, specifically to the right side of the S on the map, at a small church called the Church of East Deminis. Once you arrive here, you're going to see a graveyard in front of the church. What you want to do is head over to the larger gravesite where you're going to find an opening in the ground. Obviously just jump and head down. Once you're inside, you're going to notice pretty quickly this is basically a trap-filled dungeon. You've got arrow traps, spikes on the floors, and trip hazards. So just take your time, watch your step, and move through it the best you can. You're going to go through a few rooms, down some stairs, and eventually you'll reach a section with multiple doors. Now this part is important. The door you want is on your right-hand side. There's a lever that opens it. Ignore the ones on the left and in front of you. I accidentally opened them like an idiot. The one you want is on the right. And inside that room on the table is going to find the Deminis Royal Guard shield. Obviously, it's not there for me, but it will be for you guys. Now let's talk about these stats. The shield comes with defense level 8, movement speed level 2, and a refinement level 5 right off the bat. And on top of it, obviously, it has some Abyss gears, which is the damage reduction and the guard stamina cost reduction. So overall, this is a very solid shield. You're getting good defense, some mobility built in, and a strong defensive perks. But let's be real for a second. The biggest reason you're grabbing this is this thing looks absolutely sick. That gold and black aesthetic is clean, it stands out, and you could probably dye it to whatever color you want to make it look even more badass. Honestly, one of my favorite looking shields in the game right now, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to feel the same way. Alrighty, let's keep it moving and get the next item. With that being said, the final item on today's video is going to be the Cuckoo Lightning Spear. Now I'm going to be honest, Lightning Affinity is easily one of my favorites in this game, right up there with Fire, and this spear is actually a really solid option if you're building into that. So here's how to get it. You're going to head way north of Payloon, just above the E on the map, to a location called the Black Wall Bandit Camp, right where I'm showing you. Once you arrive here, head towards the back of the camp, you're going to see a weapon rack, and sitting right there is the Lightning Spear. Just walk up and grab it. Now, at first glance, you might be thinking this is just a weaker version of the Mecha Spear that we talked about earlier in the video, and yeah, you wouldn't be wrong, but this is where things get better. If you take the spear over to Grimnir at the Cuckoo Pot factory, you can upgrade it into something much, much stronger. And to do that, you're going to need a Cuckoo Pot Spear, the Lightning Spear itself, small batteries, and electrical components. Once you upgrade it, you now have the Cuckoo Lightning Spear, and this thing is really where it shines. Unlike the Mecha Spear, this one can actually be refined all the way up, which makes a huge difference as you progress. At max, you're looking at 35 attack speed 1, and movement speed level 2. So overall, this is a very solid lightning option, easy to obtain, upgradable, and scales much better into the late game. And honestly, the Cuckoo Pot weapon in general is really strong. There's also a Bismuth Spear, which is great for crowd control, and if you guys want a full breakdown on that or all the Cuckoo weapons, let me know down in the comments. I'll make a full guide on them as soon as possible. So yeah, guys, those are some of the craziest, most unique, and honestly best looking pieces of gear that you can get in Crimson Desert. Obviously, there are much more to go on, but there'll be future videos to cover those. Today, we covered laser helmets, lightning spears, and boots that let you glide across water or swim like a jet, and even some of the cleanest shields in the game. There's a ton of really powerful gear to go out and grab. If you guys made it this far in the video, I truly appreciate you, and if this guide helped you out in any way, be sure to drop a like, comment down below what was your favorite item, and don't forget to subscribe for more Crimson Desert tips, tricks, and guides. It really does help the channel grow, and I appreciate all you guys' support. Also, if you guys want a full breakdown on the Cuckoo weapons or any other hidden gear in the game, let me know down in the comments, and I'll go check them out as soon as possible. With that being said, it's been Saucy Surge. You guys take care, and God bless.